what I do.
For the next 246 years, that black people don't got to pay no taxes. There is a home ownership grant given.
If there was an executive order saying black people don't have to pay no tax, everybody would be black. Let's keep listening.
And education, higher education should be free for black people. Okay, this is the greatest, most fair.
What about the black people that don't want education like that? They don't want higher education. What about them? What about the ones that want to be electricians and plumbers? How about we let the people who want, let's file some lawsuits, and the people who really want it can hire a lawyer and go out and get it. All right, let's keep listening.
To level the playing field, because the 3 ways that black people were affected the most because of, like, from slavery.
Shout out to Yaya.
Poverty, the wealth gaps. We literally gave free labor, ownership, home ownership, redlining, discrimination in the bank system.
So we all talking about the same stuff.
And education, literally weren't allowed to go. So it makes all the sense to repair the harm that you caused. I'm not talking about
we just want our money. How about
America?
I know, baby. How about we just want our money? I don't need a scholarship. Give me a check. Okay, that's what my people want. My people want a check. All right, you can go on with your pretty privilege somewhere else. Let's keep listening.
We no longer go by African American. We can't be 2 nations at one time. We just American. We the only Americans. Even white people not American. African people can't be African and American because since the 14th Amendment, that was only supposed to be for the descendants of so-called slaves, the POWs, which is us. You feel me?
So see, here's the thing, and I know the brother is trying to get his words out, but until you have an actual coherent message, it just still throws confusion. We are foundational black Americans. I like the term invented by Brother Tariq Nasheed, because it keeps the black American part that we've become used to, and it just adds foundational, that adjective on. So it doesn't really change the word. It just becomes more concise. But let's continue listening to this, brother. I want you to hear this. This is important.
A lot of research. Mind you, I'm from there. I was born in Africa. I was born in West Africa, where they came and they took my people and made them slaves and to the
my people.
That whole process.
Notice how Africans, when they come to this country, they say my people, because it puts them in line with foundation. It allows them to be lined up with foundational black Americans, and it gives them somewhat a cover. Okay. And I understand strategically why you would do that, because you need the cover provided to you by foundational black Americans. But do you really feel like we the same people? Because it seemed to me like, when you do something good, the flags come out. And you discard it. When something bad has happened, you let that be some black people did. Shout out to LTD. Let's
process. Yeah. But I didn't know much about slavery till I came to America. So why they didn't teach me this in the 3rd grade or 4th grade
in Africa?
So y'all know I literally been to Africa, right? And when I was in Africa, like exactly what she's saying, like nobody knew about the whole slave story. I even met an African who was very intelligent and told me that we're not from there. We're from America. That's why we look so different. That's why we have different cultures. And that's why wherever I go, they call me, oh, American girl. Oh, American girl.
So in other words, the sister's telling you that these people don't see us as the same people. So why do y'all have such an affinity for Africans? And why do you even maintain this affinity for Africans? Why you can't see them for how they see you? We're not the same people. This is what they're saying. Different culture, different language. We look different. We might be of African descent, but hell, everybody's of African descent at this point. Just think about it. Let's keep listening.
Oh, we love American girls. Nobody thought I was African. Nobody said I was back home. They all said, why was I even there? Why did I come? I wanted to experience a different culture, a different nationality, and I wanted to learn the truth from the horse's mouth. But she's absolutely correct. When you go to Africa, they don't even know about the Atlantic slave trade. They talk about how they were enslaved and they had their own slavery that they went through being enslaved by Europeans, hence why they speak European languages, but they have no recollection of us being taken from Africa to America. Wake up and love you.
Keep listening.
If you look on a timeline, the history of the United States is still fairly brief, and slavery was abolished a mere 155 years ago. It wasn't just the White House that was built using slave labor, by the way. The building that serves as our country's political center, the United States Capitol, was built and rebuilt using slave labor after its sacking in the War of 1812. Although most northern states had abolished slavery by 1804, it's had its fair share of symbols erected using slave labor. If you're familiar with the Trinity Church in New York's financial district, you may not know that the clergy rented enslaved people to build its iconic spires, as well as the wall that used to snake down what we now know as Wall Street.
So the church was even using black people as slaves. This is what I want you to understand. This is how much we were exploited as people. But, you know, that's a conversation for another day. But this is something, they know that the debt is being paid. All right. But nobody is approaching this the right way. Let's go ahead and get this ball rolling by getting this slave act that I propose going. But let's keep listening.
Many of our forefathers were enslavers. Thomas Jefferson's entire property in Charlottesville, Virginia, Monticello, was built and run by enslaved people. Enslaved people also helped build our intellectual centers. Georgetown University, one of the country's oldest colleges, built most of its campuses after the sale of 272 enslaved people in the 1830s. Many schools with storied histories were built in part by enslaved people, including Harvard University's Law School and the University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill. That school's campus was maintained by slave labor until its abolishment in 1865. Poor record keeping and indifference by early historians makes it nearly impossible to know every contribution made to these buildings, but there's no doubt about how they got built.
Let's keep listening. Y'all still with me? You're learning something.
California's Reparations Task Force is speaking out after state lawmakers blocked 2 reparations-related proposals.
Another failed reparations legislation. Another failed one in some state, some random state somewhere. We need to get it all. We need one big, beautiful bill, just like Donald Trump says. Let's keep going.
California Legislative Black Caucus decided to withhold those bills from moving forward. That led to a big protest at the Capitol over the weekend, as you see here. That's what the video is that you're watching right now. KCRA 3 Capitol correspondent Ashley Zavala spoke with the reparations leader.
Yeah, so Ashley, what does she have to say about how this whole session ended over the weekend?
And Golston and Lisa, Camila Moore was the chairwoman of California's Historic Reparations Task Force. That group wrapped up its work last year after spending years studying the effects of slavery, racial discrimination, and its...
So they spent years studying the effects of slavery and all that and still denied the bill. We don't need any more studies. Enough studies have been done. Let's keep listening.
Impact on Black Californians. She says she felt betrayed by the Black Caucus after it decided to block 2 bills she says were fundamental for reparations.
And I guarantee you that Black Caucus is filled up with people who are not foundational Black Americans. All right, keep that in mind. There's no loyalty there. Keep listening.
Emotions still high after this scene at the state capitol over the weekend.
It's Black people stopping their own people from giving their reparations.
You see, the problem is the brother is talking about his own people. Those people, look, even the foundational Black Americans, their loyalties are conflicted. They Pan-Africans. You see what I mean? They have Caribbeans in their family and whatnot. And they have Africans in their family. They're biased. All right. So you're going to have to grow some backbone and start getting what you want. Okay. Let's keep listening.
Reparations supporters frustrated by the Legislative Black Caucus's last-minute decision to block votes in the Assembly on proposals that would establish a state agency and state fund for reparations. The Black Caucus divided, with some saying they were afraid of the governor's veto, while the caucus leader, Assemblymember Lori Wilson, claimed the bills did not have the votes.
Well, of course, that's what they're going to claim. Let's keep listening.
300K, 40 acres, and a fucking mule.
Like I said before, Black people are owed $300K each. Also, we deserve the 40 acres as well. I didn't come up with that number. Some people at a college, I forgot who came up with it. It was like some study, not a study, it's like some calculation they did. They calculated like 24 hours. This was like in 2022, I think.
All over the place.
What the fuck are you going to do with 40 acres and a mule? You're just going to grow weed on the 40 acres and then trick out.
See, these are the type of Black people. See how degenerative and regressive the conversation gets when you allow something as complicated as reparative justice to be part of the public discourse without any direction. you're dealing with folk like this. This is a clown to this. This is clown food to this person, and he is black, but is he foundational Black American? You see, that's the question we have to ask ourselves. Where's your loyalty lie?
Out the mule. That's all you're gonna do. This is the level of entitlement that Black people have. This is
the level of entitlements that Black people have, brother. Brother, you see what I'm saying? This is what happens when you open the conversation up for everybody to have it.
Owe us something. They owe us this. Nobody owes us a single fucking thing. Everything that we have, we
watch your foul mouth language. That's what you need to do. Watch your language, but keep going.
Work for. And there's still more work that needs to be done. All these people are doing
you work hard.
Keep going. Fucking begging. Black.
Now he sounds just like these Africans who come from that. Say we begging. That's what they say about us all the time.
People in this country have worked very hard to get to the standard that they have. We overcame Jim Crow. We overcame slavery. And even at this time now,